in the radio when there was no such thing as the internet or I think television. I don't even think television. Anyway, I digress. Look, I've been spoiled this morning. Not only do I have a lovely Thankyou in the studio, I also have Allie from
Rockingham Web Services.
From Rockingham?
And Rockingham, yes.
Rockingham and Rockingham. It's like one of those, it's like Wagga Wagga. It's Rockingham.
Rocks. Rockingham rocks.
I never know what to answer when people say, where are you from? Because it's like, I'm from Chinese descent. Technically, I'm from Sydney. I moved to Rockingham, but now I'm from Rockingham. But also, they're like, people don't know what Rockingham is, so sometimes I say I'm from Perth.
Yeah.
It's
of course.
Yeah, and they're like, are they asking which company I'm from as well? It's like, it's a struggle.
So what do you do? I mean, that's we got Thankyou here, and there's Thankyou and me, and there's also Allie. So we all want to ask you questions, aren't we, Thankyou?
Yes,
yes.
If I can think of some, but I could totally relate to what you said when people say, "Where are you from?"
It's such a broad question.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
But interesting to know that you're of Chinese descent, because when you came in and said Alessandra, I wondered where you were from.
You're like, hang on, that's an Italian name.
I wasn't sure if it was Italian or Spanish.
People sometimes, I'm kind of what they call a banana. So they're white on the inside and yellow on the outside.
I love it. I've just learned something new today. That's so cool.
Oh, that's going to stick with me, that one.
Sweet as well.
Tasty and good for you.
Well, you're fitting well because we're all bent here.
Yeah. So tell me a bit about Rockingham Web Design.
So I only started it, I think, March. And yeah, we make a bit different to other people. So if there's like Wix, WordPress, there's like lots of different ways to make a website. Ours is 100% coded because, well, I love coding. It's so fun. Yeah. So it's good. And eventually we want to go into software and apps as well, because I've realized there's not that many software developers going to like business networking meetups. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay, let's go. But no, it's good.
That sounds amazing. So when you say it's coded, that means it's like 100% original? So I don't know much about this, so I'm on a steep learning curve here.
So, for example, if you go to Website Builder and you're like, oh, I kind of want a website, they'll say hosting for like $25 a month or these other things. The true cost of like hosting a website on the internet is you can buy a domain for $2 and just code it up yourself, and then you have a website up for $2 a year if you have the skill. So, yeah. Or you buy maybe a more expensive domain for like $16. But if the domain's more than $16, it's either someone else bought it and you have to buy it off them, or they're taking a cut. Yeah.
So if I was to start a wee business or something, or wanted to promote myself or my stuff, I would come to you and you could make a website for me? Yeah.
So I think generally the kind of people who come get a website from us is as they care about their credibility. So a bit of, reputation's a bit important to them, maybe a little bit. And then the other thing is they want to get leads. So people, sometimes they look it up on Google and, the first thing that comes up, it's like, I'll go get that one. Yeah. And generally where the people come to, it's like they tried website builders, they went to an offshore developer, and I've seen some very interesting offshore developed websites. And then they're like, nope, no good. And then they come to a professional. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, you're, oh God, I don't mean to be ageist here, but no, truly.
Go do it. I'll get it every day. Don't worry.
You seem very young and very switched on. And maybe, I'm just guessing, a lot of people your age with that sort of ability would be sucked into a bigger company. Why did you decide to do it yourself?
So I was actually in a big company. I used to work for BAE Systems actually, that defense industry contractor. So I'm 24. So I'm still, I'm still a bit of a baby. But the problem is I kept getting into trouble. I was a bit of a troublemaker.
Why is that?
Because I like saying what I think.
Isn't it great?
I love this woman already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I used to be in the Royal Australian Navy, and I did not have a good time. So then I left, and then I was a weapons electrical engineering officer. Then I left, and then I joined BAE Systems, but I still was reeling about how much I hated the Navy. So I wrote this massive social media post about how much I hated it. It's not safe for women. It's toxic and all this. And then it got 20K views online. And then my employer found it, and they were like, yo, the government's the Navy pays us a lot of money. You can't go talking like that. Is kind of the vibe. And I was like, oh, and then I had some HR meetings scheduled, and I was like, I don't want to deal with this, so I quit.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, I'm so inspired.
Yeah, me too.
Troublemaker.
No.
Someone with integrity and passion and heart and honesty. Wow, the new generation of Australia
that's the
right
brilliant.
here. Oh, you give me hope.
No, it's not the reaction I generally get.
No, I think it's being not about me, but I've met so many people interviewing here, and I've learned so much. And people like yourself, and also Thankyou, you are so inspiring.
Oh no, don't say that. I gave 1 week's notice and I left my job, and then I just started a company.
Oh man, that is just the coolest thing ever.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
You must. You must have a great, and it is. I think so many people. Very, very clever and sharp like you are, but a lot of them lack self-belief and self-esteem. You seem full of self-belief and also self-esteem. Yeah,
well, I think the Navy kind of does that to you because you're on a ship, everyone's stressed and angry, and it's like I was told, they were like, oh, you're too friendly and bubbly, it's not professional, but it's kind of like, and then you see these people outside of work and you're like, oh my God, people yell at you, get mad at you every day, you get constantly criticized, and then you kind of realize you're like, oh, wait, it's not me. It's this environment is also making these other people kind of be these what I would say not very nice people. Just it was the environment and it's kind of the situation. And when I came to that realization of oh, wait, so when people are getting mad at me, it's not me. It's these people haven't slept much. They also have people getting mad at them. And then when I think I realized that, I was it was a light bulb moment of damn, I can't control any of this. Yeah.
And you thought, is that when you thought you want to get out, or was it only after you got in trouble that you wanted to leave?
Oh, wait, with the Navy?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I got I got some PTSD, got sexually harassed by an engineering course instructor. It was not great. I had a very bad time. And then when I was on the ship, I was very micromanaged and constantly criticized. And I did feel really, really bad about myself, depression and all that. So yeah, there was a lot of things that led me to kind of leaving. But I think the thing that really was the tipping point was I had this, they call it a training review board. So you sit and you have, because my training had been delayed because I'd fainted from overwork, and so I couldn't be posted to a ship. Yeah, so they had this training review board to be okay, what do we do with your training? You're not posted to a ship, you're medically downgraded. And then I said, I'd like to work from home and kind of, and I had these things I wanted to learn about, because now I'm damn, I need to learn more about people and how to handle these stresses and stuff. And then the conversation kept going on, but then at some point this commander said, so you can't work from home because it says here from your psychologist you've recently had suicidal ideation. And I was like, what? I can't work from home because of this silly reason? And that was, and I think the worst bit was I had only told the psychologist that, and I hadn't told anyone else. And then it's getting brought up in this meeting by these people I don't know. And I was like, I didn't realize psychologists could just tell command everything that I'm telling them. And I didn't realize it was such that privacy. It must be different in the Navy, different policies or something. So that was when I was absolutely, I feel like my trust has been broken. I can't believe this is like the silliest reason I've heard in my life. And I was like, I quit. So that was the tipping point. It's like, I think the way the Navy is like, it's very skewed. Like, it's very like it's like a different world because you're so constantly, it's like its own little culture, and you forget what it's like to be a normal person because everyone else is like it, and there's all these toxic things happens, and it just seems so normal. Like, I think they saw that and they were like, wait, I'm a commander. Like, yeah.
Must be so wonderful to be out of there. Must be so
it's amazing.
Freeing. And now to have your own business and to be your own boss. And
and I choose who I work with. So engineering's very male dominated, and I have had a few people kind of wanting to work with me, and they send me LinkedIn messages, and I generally ignore them unless they're a woman.
Sorry, I laughed too hard at that one.
So how did you start it all up? Like you came from Sydney. Well, okay, first question, why Perth?
So I actually was dating a guy in the Navy who broke up with me like 3 weeks ago. But anyways, I came for him. But also I needed a fresh start because it wasn't good. But yeah, I came to Perth, and then how I started all of it was, so I used to work as a data modeler, and the average age of the office is about like 40, 49. So they're not very good at technology. And then I automated some of I had to do this thing where I updated the database, and that was like kind of, you gave like the whole day for that kind of thing. Well, I automated it, so it just took like 10 minutes, and then I just like click play and you just kind of, and then I spent the rest of the day kind of on my phone seeing how to start a business. Yeah, so cool. That's what I did in my free time, which I had a lot at work because I didn't want to go and ask for more work. So
why would you?
I just take this thing that generally takes a day, and then I just automate it.
I love it. So cool.
So do you, for your business, we need to give you a plug, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But how have you, do you sort of limit it to Rockingham, or that's your base, or do you attack Rockingham businesses, or you go to everywhere?
So I've tried different things. I tried, walking into stores and seeing if they wanted one. I tried cold calling. I haven't had any success from that. But I found this thing called bark.com, which is where you find professionals and services. And I basically pay $100 for leads. So for example, someone's like, I want a website, I want to get a quote. And then I can see their phone number. And then it's like, to be able to see their phone number, I pay $100, and then I can call them. And I found that to be pretty good. So I started my website up, and then I put it on that Reddit post, which made lots of people clicked it. So it ranked on Google really fast. So it was good. And then 2 days after that, I got this thing from Bark being like, hey, do you want a free lead? I was like, what is this? And it was this landscaper who was in the area. I was like, okay. And then I called him, and then boom, I sold a website 2 days after starting. And I was like, this can work. This can work.
Off to a good start.
Yeah. So I think I've sold, since starting, maybe 6 or 7, which is I think it's pretty good, considering how do I put it? Well, I only started 3 months ago. I did, spend 3 weeks kind of going to Sydney and then Japan to network. And then I had a mental health holiday last week after the breakup. We went to Japan for 4 days.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
So I think it's pretty good considering I haven't been working the whole time. Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's too cliched, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where do you hope the business goes?
Oh my God. Oh, I'm glad you asked me this question. So I would show you this video, but Stanford University released this cooking robot, and it's open source. They released it in January. All of the code, how to make it, all the tutorials, everything on how to make a cooking robot. So my 20-year goal is to build this robot and then make basically it accessible to homes, because you see, right, generally when there are men in tech, they like Elon Musk, he's like, I want a cool car, so that's why cars are made on a large scale. It's there's not that many women in tech, trying to do robots. And I was like, well, I don't want to make cool guns or mining robots. I want to not cook.
This is going to be a boom thing. This is boom.
No, I'm applying for the 40K WA Innovation Grant. There's like 30K Women Enterprising. Costs 50K for the parts for the robot. So I'll probably, if I get all the grants and my business is going okay and I can afford to step away for a month, December, I'm going ham. I want a prototype. So yeah, that's where I want it to go. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
It is.
I reckon 20 years, surely the robots are
you can do it.
Yeah.
You got this, girl.
Still young,
you got this.
yeah.
So, just for before we ask you, we can give you a plug for your
a plug?
Oh, well, sorry, a promotion for your business. So how do we contact you? How do people...
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
So, Rockingham Web Services, contact me at alessandra@rockinghamwebservices.com, or you can call me on 0481 778 399. Yeah.
So, for those of us who are slow like me, if you could, if you could repeat that phone number,
Yep.
please.
Yeah.
The phone number.
Yep. Okay. So the phone number is 0481, and then it's 778, and then 399. So there's a couple of doubles in there. So 0481 778 399. Yeah.
And if people wanted to email you, because in all due respect, if you give your name, people might spell it.
They're probably going to misspell it, eh?
That's right.
Actually, there is we do have another email. It's info@rockinghamwebservices.com, which still goes to my inbox actually, but
info@Rockingham Web Services, all one word.
Yeah, Rockingham Web Services.
.com.au.
Oh, just .com.
.com.
I bought the .com domain instead of the .com.au because eventually I want to start selling to the US.
US, yeah.
Get some. They pay a lot more over there.
Yeah. Isn't it great?
Wonderful, wonderful. And there may be some listeners today from the US.
There could be, yeah.
Over there. I said,
yeah?
hey,
Yeah, we do.
What?
Yeah.
So Mary might be there listening, or my friend Mary.
So we just, because I find, because of the older generation, I remember, one of the funniest things is when they give the kids today an old dial-up phone and they don't know how you could ring a number on it.
Oh, I remember there was that.
That's it. You remember that?
Well, my parents liked to hold on to things for a while. They had the typewriter too. My mum's a bit of a hoarder, to be honest.
So what I was going to say was, so I'm a bit old school without, I'm trying to get up with technology, etc. But it's hard.
It is hard. It is
so
hard. Yeah.
Where do you? And it's all on the news now. So, but how scary is AI?
So I did AI for my thesis, so I know the maths. I know it very, very well, and I see like the AI that's coming out right now, and I'm like, it's so unreliable. It's very, very far away from being like, maybe you can speed up people's jobs, but you can't replace it. It's got what we call hallucinations. So it says things that seem very correct, but like it's not true. So I think if anything, like not AI taking over people's jobs or anything, not worried about that. But maybe like if AI starts to permeate society a bit more, like I feel like a bit more education about using it safely, because people think that these links that it generates are true links. It's like, no, it's what we call a large language model. So it looks at lots of words and it says, well, the most likely next word is this based on statistics and maths. It doesn't know what it's saying.
So why don't you think, well, you said that it won't be the be-all and end-all. Why is that? Why is it?
I just think it's too new. It's like immature, unreliable. Maybe in, 10, 20 years time it might get to something, but it's very, and it needs people, and I'm not too worried. Like I've seen people, I've had this person on LinkedIn reach out to me. It's like, oh my God, do you want to try this AI coder?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll help you with your business. Maybe you can give me some feedback. And I tried it and I was like, it just gave me broken code. I can't use it. This is horrible. Like it's good for getting brainstorming of like, oh, maybe the code should look like this, but it's very far away from being even close to being to be able to place my job, I reckon.
There you go. It just doesn't have that power of the human mind.
No, it doesn't.
The nuance that human mind can come up with.
Oh, yeah, I think it's so funny when they think it's going to replace coders, because coding is basically you talking to a computer. So, and then you and maybe some other coders and developers with you also need to read what you've said to the computer. And it's like, that needs to make sense to everyone. So like there has to be communication within the developers, each other. So the AI can't just come up with something, because otherwise like everyone, you know, it's like a team. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Yeah. I'm going a bit too technical into it, but yeah.
With AI, I can understand, like, you know, I'm pleased if I'm saying or asking wrong questions, let me know.
No, I'm very...
So you know, when you go on to like the Commonwealth Bank and they have the robot answering your questions, you know.
Yeah.
And I just find it basically useless, you know.
Yeah, it's so unreliable.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it is. That's
really
a word.
Frustrating.
Yeah. And what about... that's one side of which I think is just not quite there, and you would think people like the Commonwealth Bank would be at the top of the, you know.
Oh, banks are like the lowest. So within software developers, we have jobs that we consider good for a developer. So if we see you worked at a bank, you're pretty low there. You're not on the tier of like...
Seriously?
God level software developers. And then defense is right at the bottom. You are like defense and government. If you're working there as a developer, you are considered like the least skilled kind of thing.
I would have thought defense would be higher up because it's national security.
No. The best developers work at Google, Atlassian, Canva, tech companies. The government doesn't know how to bring out the best in engineers, and so all the good ones leave, is what I think.
Fascinating. I'm just learning so much.
Oh, yeah. There's tiers of companies developers want to work at, and the people who are unmotivated, well, not that they're unmotivated, maybe work isn't their life. They just want to look after their family, they want to do other things. They don't want to be a top tier coder. They're working for the government or like defense. Yeah. And then banks is like I think I'd say banks are still, you got to have a level of communication and things, and like I'd say it's a bit higher on the scale, and then tech companies is like top tier, and startups is like and coders that work for startups, they don't get paid the most, but like they are the most, like they can wear the most hats. Not only can they communicate, they can code, they can do like everything that needs to go around coding infrastructure, like in terms of the company, like there's tiers.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like speaking here with Tuya, who's a layperson like myself, as I said before.
And also old school.
You would think that the banks, my thing is said, who do you think's ahead in sort of that sort of thing? I would say, surely the banks, insurance companies, government, and you're saying
Google
not at all.
And YouTube and Canva.
Of course.
Yeah. Because they're willing to fork out. I've seen salaries advertised in the US. You're looking, like 200, 300, 400K a year, because that's how much they value developers. Whereas if you work for the government, you're like 80K a year. Like they don't value I mean, I was offered this, what was it? Oh, so I was a data modeler, and this recruiter reached out and was like, hey, do you want to work for the government at this like director level position data modeler? I was like, what the fuck? I'm like 6 months experience. Why would you ask me? She's like, yeah, it's like $100 an hour. And then she called me back. It's like, no, actually they can't do $100 an hour. Maybe like, can you go a bit cheaper? And it's like, I don't think I want to go lower than 90 an hour because it seems like a lot of effort. But like, I don't know. You just look at that. They're wanting this director level person, and it's like, they can't find him because they're not willing to offer. They have to find 24-year-old people like me who,
Isn't it amazing to you how much we learn just from speaking to Allie? And we really haven't plugged your business that much because we've been asking so much.
That's okay. I find, I don't know, for me, I've just found calling people directly to be the most effective. But I like to chat and it's good. I would like to have fun. Yeah.
So just going on this AI thing, one of the things I can sort of half understand the answers to the questions when you go on to a bank website. I can can AI judge emotions? So Tuya's emotions and my emotions about a subject can be completely different. So how would AI get around that?
They call it sentiment analysis. So it's like, how does this person feel? Is it positive or is it negative? And I remember looking at it for a bit, and then I don't know, I forgot. But my understanding was I've forgotten. I could come up with some things of maybe what it was, but they basically place numbers on words, and then they look at stats, and they're like, how often did this word come up? And
really?
They call it vector, embedded something. I can't really remember, but there's like little graphs. So when they're trying to figure it out, the computer's doing little graphs on statistics and likelihood to try and figure out the sentiment. Yeah.
Is that like algorithms?
Yes, algorithms.
Oh, look out.
Yeah. You got it, algorithms.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was either right or totally wrong.
No, well done. Well done, you.
I know some things.
You know some tech words. Let's go.
I've got a personal question here.
Yeah.
It just came into my head. Do you know what your IQ is?
No, I never looked it up. I used to think I was really dumb. Like, I'd go to uni and I'd like hang out with all these really smart people, and I'm like, I'm so dumb, I need to work harder. So I'd stay really late at the library. I remember one time for an AI assignment, I think I stayed there 48 hours straight trying to get it done.
Seriously?
An all-nighter on steroids.
Yeah, and then I'd put it takes like 30 minutes every time I train the AI algorithm because it processes. So I put it on and go sleep on the couch for a bit, and I'd come back and keep working on it.
Love that.
I don't know what my IQ is. No, I don't know. I don't even know what a good IQ is considered.
Jeez. But would you say to you, just speaking to Allie, like she's just naturally clever? Would you?
Sounds like it, yeah. And there's different types of intelligence.
Isn't there? Yeah.
And so we're thinking of intellectual IQ here. But in my opinion, Allie also has other types of intelligences. Just emotional intelligence and other things which I can't even think of. There was a psychologist, Gardner, I think, who listed 9 or 11 different domains of intelligences. You know, there's kinesthetic, visuospatial, those kind of things. And going back to education, sorry, I'm digressing here. We'll get back on track in a minute. We're talking about education, and one of the things with the education system here, it really still only focuses on that intelligence IQ, whereas, you know, people need to be recognised for other types of intelligences, people who are good at networking or relationship building, community building, artistic intelligence. I mean, I can't even draw a stick man, and you look at the things that people can create. Yeah. But anyway, back to Rockingham Web Design.
No.
I completely agree. To me, emotional intelligence is so important, and sometimes I've been thinking about, you know, what are the values that I think are really important for my company, and I've thought about it a lot. Empathy is like one of them, honesty and innovation. Because I think one thing I've noticed with women is like, I'll be like, hey, can you do this? And they'll just be like, yes. It's like, no, if you are busy or you are struggling at the moment, don't say yes. Tell me what's going on and I'll just cover it. Like, and I've had that conversation a few times. Like, I think my developer had to go to a funeral last week. So I was like, don't worry, I'm going to drop everything that I was doing and I'm going to take over your job, and like, don't worry about it. Like,
brilliant.
Yeah. You know, I think empathy is really important.
Listening. Yeah. Hearing someone, listening to where they're at, what they need, what's going on for them, and that connection, and
wow, it's amazing, isn't it? You know, it really is. And for older people, like I'm old as well, a long way here, everybody, but you know,
how old are you, by the way?
No comment.
My age? Yeah, I'm 67. But, you know, it's
6 years older than my dad.
Okay, this session's
now
over.
that's it. You talked about depression before. That is, thank you. But it's absolutely, you know, you can, I don't know about yourself to you, but I walk, you're a lot younger than me as well.
Yeah,
but
you're not quite old enough to be my dad.
But I can walk away, and I walk away after today, and it's such a good feeling because I'm seeing people like yourself who are regarded as young, have such a great outlook, And, like they say, and the worst thing is I think as a society, we just get saturated with what I'll call crap news, whether it be about this person, that blah, blah. And very few good stories come out about the youth. And this is a great example of what should be on the news rather than, it's the me generation, I've got a photo with blah, 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 social media. And I think, no, I mean, there are some people like that. There's some people, my generation, who are a pain in the backside too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So to have this, this is what should be out there. It really should.
Yeah, there is the news. There's too much focus on all the negative things. And maybe I'm biased because Allie's the same age as my daughter. So I see this generation and they're fabulous.
They are.
They're intelligent, they're switched on, and they know how to sort of have a better work-life balance and be more healthy, and just amazing, just so inspiring. So that does give me hope for this new generation that will, help us move forward into the future.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you said a word there about your business. And again, if there's one thing that is not publicised these days about the younger generation, it's empathy. They don't care anymore. They don't care about old people. They don't care about this. And the first thing you use about your business is empathy.
Yeah, it's so important. And I kind of feel for the older generation because I think working with people like, I guess, my age, there is like lots of little subtle things that I do to bring out the best in people, and I feel like they just don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, for example, I had a work experience kid. She came for like 2 weeks, and then I said to her, firstly I was like, I don't have time to look after her, so I got a uni student and I paid her to look after her, and I said, make me 20 video ads over these 2 weeks. And the thing that I think was really important that I said was, it can be crap, it can be horrible, like taking that pressure off, and then make the 20 videos, and maybe by the 20th one maybe you'll get a bit better at it. But it's like small things like that, just like an older person would never say to a younger person, it can be bad. I don't know, there's lots of nuances that I think to communicate to get the best, because I've seen some of my friends, and in the right situations they go hard, they work like a lot, like 12-hour days, like on the weekends, like they're willing to put in the work, but they need that, I guess, what is it, like validation? And it comes in like small like remarks in how you say it, like, and and I don't think the older generation is like used to that, so they don't know. Like they're with all these other people that don't say that to them. So why should they say that to younger people?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Encouragement. And it reminds me of something a friend once said: if something's worth doing, it's worth doing badly. In other words, just have a go. Just do it. Yeah. Don't just say I can't or it's too hard.
Yeah.
And
that's a really good.
No, I agree. That's a good one.
And learning, learning. Sometimes I know I have the idea that I've got to be good at something straight away, or I don't want to make mistakes. Yeah. But this is so important for me as a person to be a beginner at something, to be a learner, and actually enjoy that time, and of making a mistake and going, well, this is part of learning. I've made a mistake, but like you say, there's someone nearby that says, yep, that's all good. At least you're trying, you're having a go, you made a mistake, now you know what not to do, rather than someone getting down your throat about making a mistake or, telling you off.
Yeah. Like I mean, look, I won't get me wrong. Like working with older people, I've definitely found easier because I can just be like, it does get tiring saying all these little things and kind of having to be really empathetic, but like it is, I don't know, there's pros and cons, but also the younger people will come up with different ideas. Like some of these videos they come up with, I was like, they had this one where they're like, hey, Allie, just hold this cup and then we're just going to throw something at you and just put it on yourself and say, we're Rockingham Web Services, we make refreshing websites. Like, I was like, I wouldn't have thought of that.
That's cool.
So if anything, I'd say ideas from the younger and then execution from the older has been like a good balance for me.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah. The synergy of the older and younger generation.
Yeah. And the thing is too, you know, like you're not all young people. You know, you say you include older people.
Oh yeah, who do I work with on a daily basis? So I have. There's this one like I'm trying to get like I have so marketing person's like I think she's like 18. And then there's another one who's like my age. And then there's this other lady who's like, I think 10 years older than me. And then there's this guy who's been helping us and he's probably around your age, actually.
Just before the grave.
But it's such a diverse range. And as much as I am biased towards women. Like I'm like, definitely want to hire women. But I'm like, you know, if I come across a guy, good vibes, seems intelligent both emotionally and like mentally, you know, I'm not opposed to hiring guys if they pass the vibe check, but it's a high standard vibe check.
Well, that's it, isn't it?
Good. That's important.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, again, we're going back to old school, is that old school, when you interviewed somebody for a job, and I always remember one of my jobs that I got, and the bloke said to me, I don't worry about training you, because that'll be fine. It's if you fit in with the team and if I get a good feeling about you.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's an important point. You know, it's no good having all the qualifications and no people skills or not fitting in.
Communication to me is so important. Like, it's like you can be crap. You can make all the mistakes you want. As long as you just like let us know what's going on, it's like I can at least have something to go off when I'm trying to be empathetic. But if it's like I have to guess what you're thinking, it's like, oh.
Absolutely. Nobody's a mind reader.
I wish I was, as much as I wish I was. That'd be helpful.
It's been absolutely fascinating. Just before you go, because just get do you have any did you have any interests outside of your work?
Interests outside of my work? There's Catch Music in Freo.
Who, sorry?
Catch Music. They do mental health music because I do have, you know, little PTSD. So I find music really helpful for mindfulness. So I go there, Navy Club, 7 p.m. That's good. And then I also do music I found really good for mental health. And then in terms of like exercise, I like have YouTube videos and I just do little dances.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, so work for an hour, put on like a 5-minute song, do a little dance. This is a guy called the Fitness Marshal. So it's like, because I've started getting carpal tunnel because I'm coding too much. So I'm like,
Oh, wow.
So those are my other hobbies probably,
Brilliant.
Any questions you'd like to ask Allie before we sign off to you?
Probably hundreds, but I just want to say it was just awesome meeting you, Allie. I hope I can catch up with you another time.
I'd love you to come back in.
You guys are really lovely. Like, you know, when I see volunteers, I always think, damn, volunteers are always the nicest people.
I noticed she didn't.
Definitely come back.
Yeah,
she's in.
Trouble was, she didn't look at me when she said that.
She's very empathetic. She gave us both equal attention.
Maybe I was a little biased.
It was really, really great having you in, Allie, and in Austin. I really would love you to come in again. I might, if I can contact you through your website, and maybe
let's just take my phone number.
I mean, you know what it's like these days. But no, I'd
send
love
me a letter
to.
If you want,
You know. I'd love, you know, maybe, I don't know, a month or 2 months, whatever's suitable for you, to come in and have another chat about what you do and how it's all going out there, because it's such an interesting subject. It's got me really, you know.
Absolutely. And maybe if things pan out, I may have my own show here on Tuesday nights from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Hell yeah, get a girl, go boss.
So we could maybe chat about your mental health journey, recovery and music, because that's my two passions in life, you know, recovery and music and things. So who knows, that may happen. So,
Thanks very much again, Allie. It's been great. And what a lovely segue, seeing that, what a lovely segue to this song, seeing that we have both Allie and also Thankyou in the studio. Let's go with Miley Cyrus.